You see that? It's supposed to say Commission on Presidential Debates. I had to change. I threw in corruption, took out the word debates because something really weird is going on with last night's debate, last week's debate, and next week's debate, if they pull it off. It looks like they're trying to change the rules on them. And I have no doubt, because this commission, the Commission on Presidential Debates, something really strange is happening there. First off, the moderators. We had Chris Wallace last week, clearly biased. And last night, Susan Page, totally biased. Now, what you're about to see are a sampling of the questions. We alternate. A question for Senator Harris, then a question for Vice President Pence. Listen carefully. You'll see the questions for Harris are little underhanded softball pitches. But the ones for the vice president, they've got some political bite. Again, those are political hot potatoes that create awkwardness. I mean, they're tough questions. He can answer them, but they're tough.
What would a Biden administration do in January and February that a Trump administration wouldn't do? How can you expect Americans to follow the administration's safety guidelines to protect themselves from COVID when you at the White House have not been doing so? Senator Harris, in the case of Breonna Taylor, was justice done? Do you believe, as the scientific community has concluded, that man-made climate change has made wildfires bigger, hotter, and more deadly, and have made hurricanes wetter, slower, and more damaging? If your ticket wins and President Trump refuses to accept a peaceful transfer of power, what steps would you and Vice President Biden then take? What would happen if Vice President Biden is declared the winner and President Trump refuses to accept a peaceful transfer of power? What would be your role and responsibility as Vice President? What would you personally do?
See what we're talking about here? All the questions, easy on Democrats, tough on Republicans, and accepting it as a given that the president won't leave if he loses the election, although we want a free and fair election, right? I thought it was really a problem. And just like they had last week, these moderators are biased. Now, Susan Page, I have a theory, like most moderators, they're not worried about the American people. They're worried about themselves, their careers, speaking opportunities. Susan Page is a fixture on the public speaking circuit, which can be quite profitable. Let's go ahead and see. I looked it up, and yeah, you can hire Susan Page to speak at your event, your corporate event, for between $5,000 and $10,000. This is something that the general public knows very little about, but it is often a major conflict of interest. I hope next time around they should never have a journalist do this. They should either have no moderator, Lincoln Douglas style, that kind of thing, but this is clearly not working. Oh, and by the way, who sponsors these things? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, there are no commercials, but at the same time, there's kind of a commercial. Did you know Anheuser-Busch, the beer people, they are sponsors of this debate? There you go. That's a press release from the company. I have no problem with Anheuser beer, but maybe we should know more about this, because take another look at the debate set, huh? Got that great big eagle in the middle. American, right? Maybe. All right, maybe. It looks something like, let's take a look, the Anheuser-Busch beer logo, huh? It's the same thing. Are we looking at a beer commercial while we're watching this debate? I don't know. That doesn't seem 100% right with me. Am I being a jerk? Maybe, but I don't know. I don't think it should be that way. All right, so you saw that the questions were pretty easy for Kamala. She still managed to blow them, though.
If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the public health professionals, if Dr. Fauci, if the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
Now, Vice President Pence said right away that she's playing political games with the deaths of COVID patients. And, yeah, just follow the science, I've always heard her say. But no, if President Trump endorses it, she's not taking it. By the way, he's not going to be making the medication. It'll come from the drug companies. And Dr. Fauci, he's not infallible. But they love him, especially when he disagrees with the president, even if it's just for a moment. All right. Oh, this is an interesting moment. And I've heard her say this like a million times. Senator Harris is really proud about where she was born. And listen to this, because it's not really special at all.
I thought about my mother, who came to the United States at the age of 19, gave birth to me at the age of 25 at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland, California.
I mean, I know she loves her mom, and that's great, but I've heard her tell this story a whole bunch of times, and she acts like it's the most special experience in the world to be born in a hospital. I don't know anybody in America who wasn't born in the hospital, but anyway, that's a thing for her, whatever. The real star of the evening, no, not in a good way, was her face, because she was making all kinds of gesticulations and grimaces with her face, and I don't think it served her well at all.
And if you haven't figured it out yet, the straight answer is they are going to pack the Supreme Court. Biden knows a little bit about. And I think the American people know that has come upon us, and the president introduced Judge Amy Coney Barrett from it. And I think the American people, I'm going to say again, and I have great confidence in the American people. The Biden-Harris ticket come November the 3rd.
Remember that Olympian ballet, whatever she was, the gymnast who was making that face when she got the bronze medal? That's what she reminds me of a little bit there. The face, I mean, sometimes very, very smug, weirdly giddy at times. Now, there are plenty of people on the left who will say it's sexist to say anything about that stuff. It's not. It's not. This is totally politically acceptable stuff. And we can ask Al Gore about that, because he blew a debate 20 years ago. Do you remember this, when he was up against George W. Bush? And he put on a display, and he got nailed for it. He may have lost the election over it.
Fuzzy math.
He's called him phony. He's called him fuzzy.
They make, because that's where you determine, and that is a huge difference. 65. And we're talking about, there's differences. I want that too. There's a lot of shut in. It's going to go to your problem. Plan. Read and write and add and subtract.
America just does not like that kind of stuff. I don't know why Kamala's political consultants, whatever, didn't show her this, because it's never a winner. Even on MSNBC, after the debate, I saw that they were calling it a tie, calling it a draw. If they're calling it a tie, you know Mike Pence won big time. She got caught lying about fracking.
I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact.
Career politicians, they will say anything to get you to vote for them or to get you to give them money. Let's go to that tape of Joe Biden telling different people different things.
No new fracking. We are going to get rid of fossil fuels.
Well, like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipe?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel.
You know, they make so many promises and they lie so much. I don't think they're aware that they're doing it. Again, they'll say anything to get us to vote for them or to give them money. All right, Mike Pence, strong, smooth, and he was in control.
When I look at their plan that talks about advancing testing, creating new PPE, developing a vaccine, it looks a little bit like plagiarism, which is something Joe Biden knows a little bit about. Well, Susan, thank you, although I would like to go back.
I think we need to move on to the issue
but I would like to go back, because the reality is that we're going to have a vaccine, Senator, in record time. There are no more hurricanes today than there were 100 years ago.
Thank you.
But many of the climate alarmists use hurricanes and wildfires to try and sell their bill of goods of a Green New Deal. And President Trump and I are going to always put American jobs and American workers first.
He was great. He was in charge. And that moderator, again, got on my nerves. She was stopwatch happy, all right? Those rules are to serve the debate. The debate is not designed to serve the rules. How does that sound, huh? I think that's a pretty good approach. All right, so it was so subdued. Basically, you know, a calm night. I found myself missing a little bit. You know who.
Don't ever use the word smart with me.
I mean, they were so polite last night for the most part. There's something about a non-politician just calling it like it is. I enjoy it very much, and I actually think it's healthy for the country. I do. Will he participate next week? I think he's going to, if he's COVID-free, which it looks like he is already. His saying that he doesn't want to do it virtually, I think it's more of a negotiation tactic, and that's totally legit.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.